Hello, and welcome back to another week's episode of the 2003 version of the Twilight Zone. And this week we are watching The Monsters Are on Maple Street. So this is, of course, a continuation or remake of the classic episode The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. They're no longer due, they are here. The cast is something, there's a lot of people I recognize here. So Titus Welliver, who plays Dylan. He was on S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., for instance. Peter Williams, who played Tyrone. He was Apophis on Stargate SG-1. And Andrew McCarthy, he was on Kingdom Hospital, which is a very underappreciated series that I highly recommend you watch. There is this event. Some think it's an earthquake, but their phone starts ringing and all the power goes out, and then all of a sudden the camera tilts like that. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to mean that there is an actual tremor, because there is no shake. It's just the tilt, and then it goes back, and then you can see it again, and that's it. It's a bit weird. This is all playing into the post 9/11 panic of how terrorists can do this and terrorists can do that. You don't need a name for them or what they want or who they are or anything like that. Just terrorists. They even make a mention that terrorists just blow themselves up or whatever. It's a very specific type of people who would blow themselves up. Not all terrorists are suicide bombers. But that's sort of part of the appeal here, that they paint with a very broad brush. The surveillance camera, this thing that's hanging off viewing, it's a dumb thing, because even if it wasn't hanging in clear view of everyone, it's still beeping and blinking. That's not how you make a covert surveillance camera. There's one at the end too, hanging from a light post. That's not how you do it. You make them as small and inconspicuous, and you certainly don't make them beep and blink. When they're marching down the street to sort of end all of this, one of them has a tiki torch. Now, they had no idea of this. Of course, I think they were just making... of course, someone would have a torch. Torches and pitchforks are a thing, you know? But people don't have torches, so they had a tiki torch. And they had no idea that in just a few short years, this would become a bit of a meme when the Unite the Right rally in 2017 in Charlottesville, where they had all these white supremacist people with tiki torches. Because of course you just buy something at Home Depot that you can use. And then someone throws a Molotov. It's just there for a second. I mean, I get the gas cannon and throwing the tiki torch in to light the house on fire, sure. But who has a Molotov cocktail? When did he have time to prepare? Well, I'll just go make a Molotov cocktail here. That makes sense. The house is set on fire. There's some weird post-effects, flames coming from the upper store window. It's not super great. And then we get to pan to the people in the surveillance van, who are, of course, the military this time. Unlike the Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, which are a bit more supernatural, I guess, with the street linking onto itself, so they can't leave. We don't see anything of that here. They don't explore that. But here's just the military saying, well, they had 5 hours and then they fell apart, and if that's how it goes, we're all in trouble. Which is true. If we can't band together in times of crises, we're going to make it so much worse for ourselves. And then for its last narration here, says something, not something that is in the Twilight Zone, but how this fear and hatred exists in plenty outside the Twilight Zone. So they still use the Twilight Zone name, but they don't refer to it actually, which is kind of clever. It's a great episode. I like how they captured the original feel of the Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, and then they updated it to the current era of post 9/11 sort of panic going on. It's great. It's a great episode. Very appreciated that they made some strides on these old classic episodes. It's really cool. And next week we are going to talk about someone who is really much into the hatred, the soothing of hatred among groups. We're talking about Martin Luther King, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care now.